Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Post Movie Podcast. This is Steve Head, and I'm here with John Black.
John Black.
And and I've screwed up the intro. This week, we are going to discuss the new Angelina Jolie movie, Salt, and the new Lisa Cholodenko-directed film, The Kids Are All Right, which is now playing at the Coolidge Corner Theater. And we're going to do some picks of the week. And so let's start off with picks of the week. John, surprise me. Tell me what struck your fancy this week.
All right, it's an anime this week. It's a movie called Rin, R-I-N, and it is one of the most bizarre films I've ever seen, and I've seen some pretty strange stuff, as you know.
Amen.
It's an anime that takes place 65-year span. It's the lead character is an immortal detective. There's this. I can't really go into details about what it all means. It's kind of like Inception that way, although even more crazy. But there's these things called time fruits that float through the sky from outer space, and if they hit men, some people it can pass right through. Nothing happens. They don't even know they're there. Some men it hits and turns them into angels, but they're like blood-sucking murderous angels. And if it hits women, it makes them immortal. So this detective gets hit by one, and she 5 years solving the crime of the time fruits and what happens. It's crazy storytelling because each episode is like a 15-year gap in this woman's. There's 6 episodes, so there's like a 10 or 15-year gap between each episode. It's really tough to follow at times, but it looks great. It's super violent, lots of sex, crazy animation. Is this a new
production? I mean, has it been around?
No, it just came out on Blu-ray. That's why I wanted to talk about it now. It's been out, I think it came out on DVD 3-4 years ago. It's from Funimation Entertainment. It was one of those things where it was so addictive to watch, I couldn't stop. And I want someone out there who's listening to this to watch it and then write to me so we can exchange emails and talk about what the hell happened.
I hope somebody writes. I hope somebody. We've actually been getting. Did you get the numbers that I emailed you? Like for our download stats are actually not bad, but we're not getting any. Like reader emails been few and far between. So
right.
If anybody out there could do us the favor of letting us know that an actual human, as opposed to a number, is listening.
And just. Especially if you've seen Rin or you're thinking about seeing this anime or anime, just drop me a line. We'll communicate. I can use some help on this one. And the thing is, I really liked it a lot. But like I said, I thought about this more than I did Inception. Inception, I kind of like, okay, that was interesting. But this one's really messing with my head.
You've mentioned anime a number of times before. Are you a fan of anime?
I am. What do they call fans of anime? I just started watching it a couple years ago, and when I first saw it on my own, just thinking, I'm watching a cartoon. I'm a big fan of cartoons. I didn't get it on because I saw stuff like Kimba the White Lion and all this really stupid crap. And now that I've been watching it for a couple years, and the people at Funimation have been really good about sending me stuff to watch and making suggestions and this kind of thing. I'm really into it because I've always liked animated movies anyway. Yeah. And this is animation turned out to 11. Not all of it's for adults. Not all of it. That's the only problem I have is like every box seems to have a young schoolgirl on it. Some girl in a school uniform looking. You're like, oh, what's this? And then you're watching, it's like, oh, God, it's set in high school and it's all about romance, or it's set in high school and it's about vampires and it's bloody and gory, or I remember seeing this one called Strike Witch, and I was watching it, and I'm like, the cameraman's a pervert, because every shot is like, every time these girls go into fight, they're like,
and like an up the skirt shot.
Up the skirt, blouse shot. It's just crazy. And so I wrote to the people at Funimation. I go, is this a joke? And they said, no, that's actually one of the styles of anime is, for the young boys. They make anime for girls. They make anime for boys. Obviously, they're making anime for me. So it was. So it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's kind of like anything you latch onto. It's like when you find out, or you find a new band, you want to learn all about the band, or a new director in film. You know, you see some guy, the Duplass brothers. Is it Duplass?
Your favorites.
Right. So if you go to see Cyrus, and you say, wow, that was really funny and original and good, you're going to go see Puffy Chair. You're going to go see, what was the other one? Paper Bag.
You're going to dip into the back catalog. And
right.
Cyrus, I must say, the publicists are really pushing that movie. You know, the Duplasses are still putting themselves out there to do interviews, and so I guess Fox is kind of going with the progressive release schedule. You know, we're still
trying to make back the money. But anyway, that's how I got started on anime, and I am hooked pretty deep. I get a magazine on anime. I read manga. You know, I haven't started dressing
I
up.
did get into it a little while myself when Janon started sending me a bunch of screeners and things, and watched. I don't know if you heard of it, Daphne and the Deep Blue, for a while.
Don't know that one.
Well, you know, it's when you get a whole bunch of things and you're not. I don't know that you watch so much stuff and then what sticks. It's like throwing a bunch of shit on the wall. Whatever sticks, you keep. You know.
Right. Exactly. And the great thing about Funimation is they have so much product that they'll literally send me like, oh, here's 5 series to watch this month. And they're not really, I review as much as I can, but sometimes you're like, there's 52 episodes. I can't watch all this, and it's crap. So rather than just beat up on it, I thank you for sending that. I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to watch Rin. I'm going to watch, I'm getting used to the different styles. They have different genres and all this. So it's just a fun thing to do. But I'll let you know if it starts affecting
you.
Yeah,
you'll look it up.
Me.
Send me if there's anything, send me a link on it. Rin, R-I-N-N.
R-I-N.
Oh, R-I-N. Okay, cool.
What was your pick?
Well, I'm going with Breck Eisner's The Crazies. I did very much dig it. It's from the guy who directed Sahara.
Yeah.
One of the, which I don't consider, as some people would say, one of the worst movies, or at least big budget fails. I actually enjoyed Sahara on a really superficial, shallow level. But The Crazies is it's just stupid fun. Stupid fun.
Did you see the original, the Romero film?
No, I haven't. I'd like to say that I have, but I have not.
It's okay.
Yeah, well, I can't pass myself off as a Romero expert, but I can say I'm a fan. But I have not seen the original Crazies. But George Romero did produce this remake, and he is referenced on the disc. There's a featurette that's entitled "The Romero Template," so they go into how this film factors into how to build the George Romero type of suspense. But what I really dig about this was the performance by Timothy Olyphant.
Isn't he cool?
Ambiance for this, yeah, he's got me hooked, man, on whatever he's doing. I mean, Deadwood, Justified. I dig them in Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard. But he was actually in that other. The first time that I really thought, oh, this guy's got some magnetism to him. You can really see it in his eyes. There's like he's a good guy, but there's also a menace. Was in that Emil Hirsch.
The Girl Next Door, or the
with Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah,
he played the porn dealer guy.
And he was also in Go.
Oh yeah, Go.
Kind of badass in Go. Did you see Hitman?
No, I have not, but it was quite awful.
Yeah, it was a little over the top. It's funny when you mentioned Romero, and people can go listen to this on the interview we've got on the site. They paid him a lot of money to put his name on The Crazies, but he had very little to actually do with it, and it kind of pisses him off.
Really?
Because he really wanted to get involved and do something with it, and they just paid him a lot of money and told him no thanks.
So do you think that they have this featurette on there just to say, we appreciate you?
Maybe. I haven't seen the featurette, but it's just if people want to scroll back on our site, there's the Romero interview, and you can hear him talk about it.
Definitely.
So
the DVD. Yeah. The Blu-ray. It's one of those things where they market it as a 2-disc, and the second disc is actually just a digital version of the film. So I first watched it on the computer, and that doesn't have any of the extra stuff. But I watched it a couple days ago on a huge flat screen, and it was just, beautiful.
Yeah.
Such a huge difference watching a film, on watching Blu-ray on a giant 55-inch screen. Just
you almost feel the splatter. It's pretty violent.
And
I was surprised by the.
Yeah, in fact, I couldn't handle all of the making of, because I kind of got a little fed up with the, as much as the makeup effect stuff is cool, they have a couple of featurettes on that, and it is messed up. What they're basically trying to do is make something that's like a zombie, but not a zombie, but basically it's a disease, and they wanted this thing to sort of eat from within inside the person, and then slowly accentuate itself slowly over the course of the film. So it's like this progressive veins and welts and blood, and it just gets worse, with these crazy, because it just gets more visually unpleasant and pustule-like, and I'm just like. But as far as the the story goes, where they've they're in this town, and it's told from their point of view, so you're sort of learning about this government project that went awry. And how it's just completely destroyed the town, and they've turned the high school into sort of a like a hospital, but really not a hospital, more like a camp where they eventually. I'll stop right there. But Radha Mitchell and Timothy Oliphant were terrific. Also, Timothy Oliphant's buddy, John Anderson, this British guy. I really digged the arc of his character in the film. He's a minor character, but as far as like the difference between this movie and other movies is that you sort of develop a relationship with the people who ultimately succumb to the disease and become crazy and try to kill you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of happened in like Shaun of the Dead, but this is sort of like
this is serious.
Really accentuated in this film. You get to know somebody, and then they turn on you. And John Anderson, who plays Oliphant's deputy in the film, has a good, great character arc, I thought.
Yeah.
And a memorable scene.
That's another detail.
What?
I said that you don't want to give away too much detail because it is fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Steve.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, on your Facebook page, you announced to the world that you just sat down and watched Cool Hand Luke for the first time.
I did, but I only got through a half hour of it last night. Fell asleep.
What? Okay. I want you to bring that back as one of your picks of the week, or I will, because that's.
And for that, I'm going to spend the night in the box.
Yeah. What Steve has here is we're going to make you eat 50 eggs. Did you get to the 50 eggs part?
No.
Think of that.
I just got by the part where George Kennedy, who I really admire as an actor, and I think he got really short-shifted in the 80s and 90s by kind of lampooning him as just being this guy that appears in Port 77 and stuff like that. His 60s and early 70s films, like the Eiger Sanction and Cool Hand Luke and the first Airport. Terrific, and he's still around.
I was going to say, do you know Jim the usher at the Commons?
Yes.
He does autograph shows. He represents clients and brings them to autograph shows like old stars. Really? George Kennedy is one of his clients.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, just one of those little tidbits. He goes to Burbank and Chicago.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, he's got this little business. He goes to Burbank, Chicago, and New Jersey, and he gathers up all these people, from old movies, old TV shows, and when they have autograph things, he brings the talent in, or he'll sit with the talent. And you should talk to him about it sometime.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do. I'm in. You know, I was kind of like, oh, geez, should I tell everybody on Facebook that I haven't seen Cool Hand Luke yet? But I figured, you know,
brave. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Harry Dean Stanton in there.
Yeah.
So you know, I will finish watching it and we can talk about it next time because I'd be eager to talk. Got a really good vibe from what I saw. I was really digging it. The other thing I watched, I'll say really quickly, was Fantastic Mr. Fox Blu-ray, and that.
So did I.
Cool. Did you watch
I watched that on Blu-ray too. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
It was
sweet.
good.
Yeah. What the Blu-ray allowed me to do is, you know, they have Wes Anderson sets up a couple of these shots where you actually see the article that Mr. Fox wrote for the Gazette. So Sarah and I, we stop action on the article. You can read the whole article. You know, it's like a New Yorker piece, but you can actually read the entire article that Mr. Fox wrote. You know, on a couple of, what? And we did. And we did. It was funny stuff. So yeah, it was terrific. I wouldn't say it's a great DVD or Blu-ray in terms of extra features. Stuff.
It's still fun to watch, though.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's move on to the new releases this week.
It's time for Salt.
It is now.
Or do you want to go into? Let's do Salt, and then you know, maybe The Kids Are All Right, which is playing at the Coolidge.
So.
And you just saw Salt a couple hours ago.
I saw it this morning, and you know, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I was, you know, it's like a throwback to those '80s spy movies. I mean, it takes place in the Cold War. I mean, the Russians are the bad guy. How crazy is that? It was like watching I don't know, some old school spy movie with Henry Fonda or Robert Redford from like the '80s. Angelina Jolie, the basic. Angelina Jolie is a CIA operative, and
Evelyn
Salt, and she gets a Russian defector comes into the CIA one day and says there's a plot to kill the Russian president. It's done by a spy, no one knows, sleeper cell spies, and the spy's name is Evelyn Salt. And she's like, I'm not a spy. And then the movie is all about her proving she isn't a spy, or she acts like a spy, and it's a big chase. It's like a long, endless 90-minute chase.
Yeah, you know, I think the hard thing here is there's some great plot twists.
Yeah.
And as much as
let's reveal them all. No, let's give them all out right now. Let's just.
Well, I think the only thing I want to say regarding the plot twist is this: is that I thought this was a good movie, and then there is a key plot twist that just kicked it up for me. It was one of those oh shit moments. I was like, what the fuck? And
did it work?
It did. It did. I thought that was a cool ass scene. This whole 10-minute sequence, it revolves around the plot twist and the way they played it out with. And I'll stop right there.
Yeah. Now, everyone has been talking about how this was originally the part of Salt was originally written for a man, and I guess Tom Cruise was offered the part or something.
Yeah,
do you think? What do you think about Angelina Jolie as an action hero? Does she work for you?
Well, she does. She does, and I'll tell you why she works. Because I think what was great about this film and what they did with her here is that they they made a conscious choice not to accentuate her femininity or use her femininity or accentuate the fact that she's a woman. It's just good spy film that stands on its own, and she happens to be a woman.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And they didn't want to let her femininity basically get in the way of a good spy movie. And it worked. John, there's this other part of me that's like, there's the man side of me who was like, geez, I wish she'd done a couple of action scenes in a skirt. You know?
Well, I understand that completely.
But it doesn't. But there's a difference between like feeling like, oh man, it would have been cool to see her do that in the skirt, and then knowing what's good for a good action movie. There's a difference.
Right. I mean, and they kind of walk a line where they do a lot of close-ups of her. To see those lips broadcast 60 feet tall, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. That's Angelina Jolie. Now go back to the bomb blowing up and the car chases and all that. She's got physicality.
Physically implausible moments in this movie that she carries out, in the chase. But it's a movie. That's. I may not say that about other films, but for this one, I'm going to say it's good enough overall that when you have something so absurd, that happens with her walking away from an accident and nobody seeing it. It's just like, give me a break. But
there's a lot of moments in there you kind of roll your eyes.
It's a good movie.
The story just lets you down. It's got a great supporting cast. Liev Schreiber is the other CIA agent, and he's always fun to watch.
He has a lot of good. He's got good baggage, because of some of his other films. He's good CIA heavy.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be able to say this guy's name. Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
Thank you. He's the other co-lead in this. He's kind of he's not a CIA guy. He's from another agency that's trying to keep an eye on the CIA, and so he's chasing Evelyn Salt along with Liev Schreiber, who plays Ted Winter, her boss, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, there's I don't know. Let's say it's a 2-hour movie, and there are maybe of the 2 hours, I'd say maybe 20 minutes is not action.
Right. This movie moves.
Oh my God!
On the run. It's people have compared it to a female Jason, but I'm not thinking in terms of has to be compared to Jason Bourne. I mean, it has the whole spy technology thing, but to me, this whole female action hero spy thing goes back to or
goes back to
Modesty Blaze, from the late 60s.
All right, hold on a sec. Stop right here. Don't stop recording, but I just watched yesterday. I watched Modesty Blaze for the first time. Have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah, I saw it at the Harvard Film Archive on the big screen. It was
who?
Was it directed by Joseph Losey? So they did
I don't know. I was flipping around on. It came up as a recommendation. I was like, I'll watch this.
Some camp stuff,
Man, they should remake that with Angelina Jolie. Ha!
That would be a good remake. But therein is an example of a woman who, in these 60s movies with Fathom and Modesty Blaze, they are overtly using their femininity to get what they want as spies, which is completely necessary. I mean, the CIA has, female operatives that do these things to get, the information they need. And it's not like that doesn't happen. But in this movie, she's not acting like a woman to make that the entertaining part of the thing. I mean, she goes so far as actually be a man in this movie. She impersonates a man during a certain sequence, and you're just supposed to accept that she's nothing else than just a really good spy.
Right.
So as much as I would have liked, they could have played it up. They could have gone the other way with some camp, which is what they do with a number of films in this genre, but they didn't, and it was the better for it.
That maybe for the boy in me would have liked a little more of the Tomb Raider outfitty kind of thing.
All right.
But I was so wrapped up in the action, and like you said, there's enough plot twist, and I'm not going to question whether they work or not. They work. The one you were talking about before, I was like, wow, that's awesome. So yeah, lots of fun. I don't think I'd rush back to see it again, but
I would. I would go see it again.
Okay.
I would dig seeing it again. John, I think what also lends some credibility to this film is the fact that some other female action films or whatnot, if like Catwoman as an action film, or Elektra as an action film, or the entire Resident Evil series, these are sci-fi films that are done with a certain from a certain tongue-in-cheek angle. But Phil Noyce, who directed the film, he brings some some serious what am I going to say? Some serious gravity to this film. He's done
Sum of All Fears.
Yeah, the Sum of All Fears. The Tom Clancy novel stuff. So
yeah,
he's done these action films that aren't a joke, and Salt is a joke. It's some good stuff. It can play with the Tom Clancy stuff.
Right. It doesn't even resort to the the hero having a little aside jokes or anything. She doesn't try to be funny. She doesn't try to be campy. She's on a mission to finish what she started, and that's everything the movie's about, is her completing this mission. The great part is you never know where it's going to go towards. I'd say the middle, from the middle to the end, is enough twist and turn to keep you guessing what's going to happen next. But
and even like you said, the action sequences. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, even in the action scenes, like I was watching Thunder, and there'd be a big action scene, and then James Bond has to give the zinger. She finishes an action scene, she walks away because there's something else to be done.
It's true. In a way, she's doing it in, The Road Warrior in its time was credited for being an action film where the hero didn't talk a lot. You really don't talk a lot. You just do what you do. Here, Evelyn Salt does what she does. She, she removes her high heels and scales the side of a building. She jumps from a bridge. She jumps from car to car, and it's in its way, it's implausible. It's probably even physically impossible, but it's shown in such a way that it's actually, some really cool action sequences.
Yeah.
And Angelina Jolie, I interviewed some years ago. I interviewed Simon Crane, who directs her action sequences. They actually work very closely together. He's done her Tomb Raider films and other stuff. She's like Taking Lives, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. God, what else? She did Wanted. So she has a relationship with a stunt director who allows her, they know what they do and cannot get away with. So she's actually in her career, she's in a position where she can, she's an actress who can do stunts and make them look realistic. And she's able to, granted, she's in a position where she can afford to have her own stunt coordinator, which a personal relationship with a stunt coordinator, which most actresses can't have or don't, but it pays off for her here because she's pretty believable and pretty athletic, and it's neat to see.
And the great thing is, it isn't about the big stunts like when Evelyn Salt jumps from one speeding truck, the roof of one speeding truck to the roof of another speeding truck going down the highway. I'm fine if they use some person. Like, it just looks cool no matter what. But there are scenes where she beats up on guys, and there's one in particular I remember where
the men's runs is pretty big here.
Yeah, she runs up the side of a wall to get more momentum and leverage to crack this guy's head open.
Yeah,
and
that was pretty sweet.
Damn. and it's full face. You can tell it's her, or they use some really good computer thing to disguise it, but it looks cool for her. So I'm very very psyched with her for being an action hero.
Yeah, and gunplay in here is pretty sweet. There's a scene, where she has an automatic weapon. She whips it around into this guy's face who's standing behind the bulletproof glass, fires into the bulletproof glass. It is just it's just very cool. It was neat to see her do that. So much better than Tomb Raider, which is sort of the showy action. This is I guess it would classify as practical action.
Yeah, that's a good phrase for it.
And it really kicks ass. So Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars, 4 3.5, and Roper twittered that he didn't exactly agree with that, but maybe that's just Ebert's thing. So I kind of agree with Ebert on this one.
Yeah, I do too. So he's right this time. He agrees with us.
True.
All right.
Yeah, we live under that delusion.
Now we both enjoyed Salt. I think a lot more than maybe some of our other fellow critics, the more grumpy ones will. Now we're going to turn to another movie. The kids are all right. Steve, why don't you give the description for this one? Because
this one is I guess you could call it an alternative family film. It's a contemporary drama that takes Francisco, where a lesbian couple played by Julianne Moore and oh God, it was Warren Beatty's wife. What's her name?
Annette Bening.
Annette Bening, yes. They play a lesbian couple who has a 16-year-old and a 16-year-old, 14-year-old boy, 16-year-old girl. The girl's played by Wojciechowski. I don't think I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but listeners would better know her as Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And the premise of the story is that they being Annette Bening and I always put myself in this position where I have to constantly bring up the actors' names.
You're in front of them.
Yeah.
You're in front of the computer, aren't you?
Julianne Moore and Annette Bening. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So they use a sperm donor, and they had decided years ago that they'd use sperm from the same donor, so that they have 2 kids from the same father, obviously, who they've never met. And when Mia Wasikowski's, I'm going to stop trying to pronounce her name, just get her character names here.
When the daughter
decides at the age of 16 that she's going to attempt to contact her biological father, played by Mark Ruffalo. She does. The business calls Mark Ruffalo, and he grants them approval for her to contact him, and it creates sort of this progressive witch into their lives, and kind of charms them, and certainly charms Julianne Moore, where they have a discretion that could unhinge her relationship with Annette Bening. And but this movie is just so played on its character value and the way they all interact with each other. And particularly what I loved were the dinner conversations, just these minor moments that meant everything, with ensemble cast there and everybody sort of relating to each other. And this is where this movie's magic really is. And it's a terrific film. I overall, I thought that Mark Ruffalo's character, if I could fault this movie, I felt that Mr. Rodenko sort of used him as a tool to make a statement about their family, and I don't feel that he was resolved in a particularly good light. I feel just kind of a tool, to make a point. But without giving anything away, Ruffalo really has the performance here, and in fact, he's probably, I think he's like early candidate for best supporting actor. But he's playing such a character that is charming and so full of himself, and people feel good when they're around him. And he comes into these people's lives when they're sort of on a down point, a downswing. The kids are trying to find their identity, and sort of some laziness in the 2 women's relationship, and it works, and it works, in a humorous way too. It's a very funny movie. It's very.
I'm trying to respond, but I'm sitting here with my mouth just hanging open. We are so on opposite sides of the fence on this one.
Tell me. Go for it. Go for it.
So, I'm going to apologize, dear readers. Turn down the volume for 1 second. These people were so fucking annoying. I could not stand any of them. Any of them. Julianne Moore and Annette Bening looked so uncomfortable holding hands pretending they were gay. Mark Ruffalo is annoying. Just annoying. The whole plot with we just happen to have the same sperm donor, and he shows up, and he's this cool guy who seduces one of the moms, and
John, he's a guy who doesn't have structure in his life. He lives a carefree life. He doesn't have these rules that they in their family house have to abide by. And
did you buy that? Did you believe that?
Well, you sound like Annette Bening in this movie. After that dinner conversation, did you believe that?
Oh wait, I am not going to suddenly stop talking and listen to and sing Joni Mitchell songs because the script can't give me a decent emotion, or turn up so it's like this blaring noise that takes place of any dialogue I can't write. Don't call me Annette Bening.
I thought there was some terrific dialogue in this.
Where?
Particularly use of the word fecund.
Wait, you said the word what?
They were like, I never used that word. That's such a rarely used word.
What word? What?
Fecund. They had used it to describe Julianne Moore's character plays a
hippie.
She's a hippie, but she's also God. What is the name of the person who someone does lawns? She's a landscaper.
Gardener.
Gardener, yeah. And the word fecund came up. But yeah, I do want to agree with you on this point, in that there really is no on-screen spark from my point of view between Annette Bening and Julianne Moore. There's nothing there. The real spark in this movie is between Mark Ruffalo and Julianne Moore. That's where the life is. I don't see the relationship that the two women have. I don't feel it. I mean, you see it played out on screen, but it's sort of like, yeah, whatever. There's no, they kiss, they show affection to each other, but it's not.
They look so uncomfortable doing it.
It is uncomfortable, and it just, even though they do have a sex towards the beginning of the film, that is a very awkward moment, for the characters on screen, it just comes off as still being awkward to us.
Well, here's something. I saw this. I didn't see this with the press. I saw it at a screening for the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. I don't know if it was a fundraiser for them or one of their screenings. I don't know. But I was in a room full of
the
no,
MFA.
Wasn't? No, it was at the Commons. But it was the director of the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival made a little speech beforehand and stuff, and I was surrounded by gay and lesbian people who obviously loved the movie, but they cooed and giggled and just were so in love with everything that was going on. And I was like, well, maybe it's just that this movie's not for me or something. But then as the movie dragged on, I was like, no, anyone can tell they're not comfortable with each other physically. And they supposedly, according to the story, they've been together at least long enough to have 2 kids, one each from the same sperm.
So did you get the feeling that this is sort of an indulgent production for the gay and lesbian community? Just that they're supposed to appreciate it? I mean, I loved the movie, but I can tell you that there just were certain things that did not spark. It's not a great film. It's a good film.
Yeah. See, I was just so bugged by the phoniness of everyone that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It just didn't know. It just got under my skin. These people were just so phony. Were phony.
Oh, and John, I will tell you that I did go into seeing the movie the other night with all of the whole night. This is the most awesome film. It's the best film of the year. Totally overrated, and you just kind of have to see it for what it is. It's a good movie with fun people to watch, with interesting people to watch on screen, and Mia Wasikowska is terrific to see how she navigates this 16 point in her life, and even their son, the actor, I don't remember his name, but how the two moms, the momses, are beginning to wonder if he's gay, spending so much time with this guy who's a friend, and it just seems so weird. Like, from another perspective, from a different paradigm, would we think that this boy was gay because he's skateboarding a lot with this other kid, and it sort of seems like, oh well, this is something that those moms are coming up with that maybe I'm not a parent.
Well, it's funny that they named their daughter Joni, and we learned that Joni Mitchell is the reason these people live. But they have a son played by Josh Hutcherson, and his name is Laser. That's how annoyed I was.
Yeah, well, that's like a very California thing.
Laser? Paintball was taken? Laser?
They must have had a great
evening. Not exactly the sharpest knight in the drawer. But the thing is, he was the only person I liked was Josh Hutcherson as the son. I thought he was the only believable and honest thing in the movie. He doesn't get enough to do.
But he does brood his way through the film.
Oh yeah. I would. I think I was brooding my way through this film.
Would you? I mean, do you think it's because he's just fed up with his family? Do you?
I don't think
the whole idea is that the kids are ultimately all right. They're having problems, but they're going to get through it. And these are 2 kids that have to put up with the added circumstance, and this is probably not the right word, or whatever society imposes on a lesbian couple. The kids have to put up with this.
Here's the thing. I don't think the script gave me enough to know why he was like that. Yeah. I can project all I want, but I don't think it was there in the script, and that's a lot of that was a big problem for me, that the script was kind of thin on him. It's kind of thin on Ruffalo too.
Well, what do you think about his performance? I thought he was thoroughly enjoyable.
It was lazy. It was so lazy.
Was his character?
No, look at his last few movies. He's got this thing where he does the Mark Ruffalo thing, and there was nothing. I could find no reason for anyone to like him, let alone the kids get to like him as a father figure, or Julianne Moore suddenly, experiments like she's in college.
Oh my God, it's different. I digged him, man. I digged what he was wearing. I digged his motorcycle. Maybe that was shallow. He represents this guy who's like, the at one with the earth guy who, grows vegetables and has this really nice restaurant and is knowledgeable about wine. So he's completely, he can so charm people. They can be enchanted by him, and that's what happened. That was his effect.
He could either be charming or totally, and I just found him to be totally funny. So
it seemed like a very uncomfortable evening at the theater for you, John.
Oh, it was. It was. And then the funny thing is, it's obviously like the lights go up, everyone practically, standing up and cheering, and I'm the grumpy straight critic sitting there going, I just want to be away from these people. I want to be away from this movie. I don't like these people. I just want to be outside. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Okay.
At least on the inside, I probably looked cool, and nodded and smiled, but no, it wasn't uncomfortable, and not uncomfortable because of any gay, straight, anything like that. Uncomfortable because the people annoyed me, and I had to sit there for 2 hours and listen to them whine. And do
you think that they were pretentious? They were full of themselves?
Totally.
Exactly what they accused Mark Ruffalo's character of being?
I think the whole be pretentious. Before it even hit the screen, it was pretentious. And didn't we just see Annette Bening play the same kind of bitchy nurse character in her last movie? The one with, what I'm talking about, the one with Jimmy Smits in it.
Mother and Child, the women.
Mother and Child.
Oh, Mother and Child, the one that made you cry.
Right. That one. But here I was, like the flip side of Mother and Child. This is like, oh, come on. She's wearing the same hospital scrubs. She's still a bitch, but now she's a fucking bitch. I'm supposed to somehow see this differently? I don't. So
don't you think it's
thanks for bringing up the
challenging for her to, she's in this movie basically wearing no makeup. She does not look great, and there's a few scenes where I was like,
okay.
A little makeup might help. It's like,
all right, so so in the movie, you calling that a brave performance that she doesn't wear makeup, right?
I think John, she had the hardest role in this movie. She was playing the person that people don't particularly like, but she wanted to try to hold things together, and things were getting messed up around. She wasn't perfect, but she was kind of playing an unlikable person. And as an actress, that's hard to do.
Next time you're at the Commons, the big cardboard cutout for this movie on the second floor?
Yeah. Oh my God, did you see that with how much? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So for her brave performance, and she's wrinkles and all, and acting her age and all this other stuff, the poster, the cardboard cutout of this movie with all the critics quote and stuff, has pictures of Annette Bening, and she looks like she's 20.
I was
in her wrinkle on her. She's sandblasted to smooth.
John, I walked by that poster that Stan Dee the other day, and I thought the same thing. You're not seeing, the I don't want to get into her skin issues.
No, but maybe so maybe it's brave for her as an actress of a certain age to appear her age, blah blah blah. The studio obviously doesn't think it's brave to promote it the way they filmed it.
Poster.
It's just
kind of like blurred the photo a little and zoomed out.
Oh, it's so funny.
Okay.
Anyway, obviously we're on opposite ends of the world on this one.
Yeah.
So.
But Salt Man, that's the one to see. I think.
Yeah, we like Salt. And she could have been a lesbian. It would have been fine with me.
Yeah.
We had good recommendations.
Yeah.
And
it has actually some. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to say if someone obviously I think The Kids Are Alright is a movie where people are going to be polarized, where, like we are, or I remember talking to someone who said it was, the best. A lot of critics have been saying it's the best, blah blah blah. Here's a chance for people to write in and either agree or disagree, or if they just think I'm just an uneducated right-wing conservative, which I'm not, but if they have if they think there's hope for me, send in a letter. Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why. That's what I really want. If I'm right or wrong, tell me why. Maybe I did miss something. I don't think so.
There are probably some people out there who agree with you. And if there are, send us an email. Send John an email. postmoviepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear. We'd love to get some actual reader feedback. That would be nice. But man, I was going to say on Salt, they, there is that the Russian spy thing in New York sort of created a certain overall credibility for the notion of the movie. That there's the Russian spy who was recently outed. You following the news, John? Okay.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's like accidental PR. That something else in reality is actually going on. Sort of in the movie. I'm not saying she's a Russian spy. We don't know. She's trying to find that out. So.
Right. Oh, she is.
Did you? All right. I was going to say, did you think she was before you saw the film? Angelina.
Who, Evelyn Salt?
Yeah. Did you think she was a Russian spy before you saw the film?
When the plot starts to twist around, I was happy to let go thinking. And I'm by the way, they kept me guessing throughout the movie.
Yeah, it does keep you guessing. And that was the main thing. I just didn't want our listeners to think that, we're saying she's a Russian spy. So it's one of these iffy things that you just, you have to
don't look. It's just, and the thing is, it's well written enough and well executed to keep you, even if you know what's going to happen, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely, some surprising moments. So let's wrap this up until next week. Definitely, send us an email. Hear from you, postmoviepodcast@gmail.com. And check us out on Facebook. You can probably just search for post-movie.net or just post-movie. We're on Facebook. And go to post-movie.net and you can check out our prior episodes, the interview with George Romero. And also, what was the John, there was another interview you told me to link off of that we've done for a film that's currently playing.
Well, I know.
Yeah. Joan Rivers film.
Yep.
It's currently playing over at the Coolidge. You interviewed the director.
And also next week is Todd Solance's new movie. Life During Wartime opens on Friday, and we have an interview when he came in for the Independent Film Festival of Boston. So we'll point people on that when those reviews go up. Did you see Life During Wartime?
I did. Oh, by the way, apparently this week he's promised that there will be no masturbation or child abuse or any of those other issues that you see in his prior films and his future film, his next.
Well, that's a good warning. You should put that on.
So we can all take that. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah.
Thanks. So there's going to be a little more stability, I guess, in the future for Todd Solondz.
Anyway. We'll wait and see. All right, let's wrap this sucker up.
So until next week, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And it's the Post Movie Podcast. So long, everyone.